Right, so thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Magnus Nielsen, Lord Londonstone, and I'm starting out this time. I'm picking up from where I left off at London Bridge Underground Station. So this is London Underground Station, and I'm just going to make my way now up to the pavement where we'll get ourselves organised. So I'm coming out of the underground station by a flight of stairs, which you see in front of you. And it takes a little while to get up to here, but once we're there, all is well. Actually, I've come out on the wrong side of the road, which is rather annoying. So here we are. So that's Southwark Street leading off on the right-hand side. On the extreme right-hand side you have Borough Market, as I've pointed out to you. And, oh yes, look up there. You've got the Shard, the tallest building in the United Kingdom, at least at the present moment. Okay. So what I want to do, as I say, is continue where I left off and make my way down to Tower Bridge. And point out, as we do that, some of the sights, some of the places of interest along the way. And actually there's a lot to see and do in Southwark itself, which would really require a video all to itself. And in fact it may require 2 or 3. Anyway, we'll cross over the road here while we've got the green light. This is Borough High Street, which originally led all the way up to London Bridge in the Middle Ages. Right, we'll cross over. Now here we are. This is Borough High Street. And what we need to do... St Thomas's Street is down here with the old operating theatre. That's an operating theatre that was closed down first of all in the 1820s and then suddenly rediscovered in the 1950s, I think it was. And you can go and visit and see how operations were conducted before they had anaesthetics and things like that. And again, there you've got the Shard. Okay, there's a fire engine there. And I'm just waiting for the lights to cross, because I'm a good little citizen, as you all well know by now. And I like to set a good example to those who are younger than I am, and most people are younger than me. Oh, sod it, let's cross. There's no traffic coming. I'll be here forever otherwise. Right, so what we're now doing is making our way up in the general direction of London Bridge. You've got the traffic, you've got the rail bridges overhead. But before we get there, it's worth pointing out to you that this here was the original site of historic Southwark, the site of St Thomas's Hospital. 1225 to 1865, the first printed Bible in English was produced here in 1537. That was probably Tyndale's Bible, I would think. But anyway, the St Thomas's Hospital you've already seen actually in the first video I did on this South Bank walk. And this was this place where it was originally founded and dedicated to St Thomas the Apostle. And then it was dedicated or rededicated to St Thomas Becket, the Archbishop who was murdered by knights at the instigation of King Henry II. So here, as we go forward now, we have London Bridge Station, the railway station. Built in 1836, the first purpose-built railway station in London, and one of the very earliest purpose-built railway stations in the world. That's because Britain led the technology for steam engines. Okay, so as we go forward now, you have the modern London Bridge over on the, well, it's actually directly ahead of us. As we just bear round to the left-hand side, you can see Southwark Cathedral. There's been a priory church there, probably from the 7th century. One of the very early churches. Very, very early churches.
Sorry. You see Granddad?
And here, we're just turning around into Tooley Street. That is where that bus is. That is, and behind the bus is London Bridge. Let's go round here to the right. Tooley Street is the street that leads off here on the right-hand side. Famous for all the bonded warehouses of the East India Company. This is where all the produce from the East Indies was unloaded. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? There's a red light, so I'm going to stop. Oh, come on. Why is the bus stopping? Anyway, let me just show you. That is Tooley Street down here. Swing round, and we have London Bridge, and then we have Glazier's Hall down there over on the left, and then there is another place called the Barrow Boy and Banker. Oh, would you believe it? Would you think it? Oh, we can cross. Good. Let's do it. Here, actually just before we get on the other side of the road, you will see a sculpture called the Spike. There it is, and that commemorates the fact that the heads of traitors were placed on spikes over London Bridge, so that as you came and approached the city of London from the south, you'd go up Southwark, and then you would see, just before you crossed over the bridge, you'd see the heads of people who had been beheaded for the crime of treason, or hanged for the crime of treason, and then had their heads cut off. So we're on London Bridge at the present moment, with a pavement that is what? About 15 yards broad. That was once the original breadth of Old London Bridge. This bridge, well, I'll talk about the bridge a little bit later on when we get a better view of it. But as you can see, what we're now doing is heading up in the general direction of the River Thames. There we have the dragon, which is the emblem of the historic city of London. Down here we have a map which has been smashed to pieces, so I can hardly read it. Too bad. And here we have a flight of stairs which we're now going to make our way down. The purpose of doing this is so that we get a better view of London Bridge. So I just have to walk very carefully down here. And as I do so, we approach another map. Okay, so you can see for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, we are down here, and what I propose to do is walk all the way down here, past the pier, Hays Galleria, Southwark Crown Court, HMS Belfast, the Scoop, City Hall, Potter's Fields, and to Tower Bridge. Okay, which is River Thames is next to us. This is the River Thames ahead of us now. And various reasons they set these steps at an angle which makes it rather curious to negotiate. Curious to know how they got past the health and safety regulations for this, but anyway they did. So just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm making my way down here. Right, bit by bit. One step at a time, so that I don't tumble. Okay, so there we are. Right, now the point of doing all this is to give you a much better view of New London Bridge, and I will take that from here actually, because this point is the site of the old London Bridge here. This is from this point here right up to the opposite bank was the place where the Romans built the first London Bridge and where the medieval London Bridge stood, which was built in 1209 and eventually demolished in the early 1830s, and then it was replaced with another bridge over on the left hand side, which is now in Arizona, and this is the replacement for that bridge, which was opened in 1973. Let's see if we can get a better view of it. No, we can't because the bushes are in the way, which is a shame, but there it is. That is New London Bridge, 1973, and the story about London Bridge falling down, that's because the original old London Bridge used to fall, in need of constant repair on account of the fact that the piles which supported the bridge were embedded into clay, and the clay constantly kept sinking, so they had to rebuild. So that's why London Bridge was falling down. But these piles on this bridge go all the way down to bedrock, so there's absolutely no chance that they will ever sink, and this bridge could well be standing in another 1,000 years' time. Let's just have a look across the river. You can see that very tall column with what is actually a ball of golden fire. That is the monument to the Great Fire of London, which broke out on the 2nd of September, not very far from there. And I'll talk about that on another occasion. Then you can get the sideways view of the Church of St. Magnus the Martyr. Been a church on that site. St. Magnus was patron saint of the Orkney Islands. So there we go. How about that then? Let's make our way down here. So here, as I say, as we go round, you get a view of the north bank, the City of London. As we're walking down here, we've got London Bridge Hospital just a little way down here. It's a private hospital. Right, now then, just make our way along. And what we're doing is heading out to Hays Walk. We're actually walking along the Queen's Walk, which is its proper name. So from here, as we go along, we can see, we get an excellent view of the skyline of the modern city of London, and on the shores of the banks of the river, North Bank, you've got the, we call it the Mirror Factory, that curious building with all that blue glass, and then next to it on the right hand side you have Billingsgate. Once upon a time a fish market, a wholesale market for fresh fish, which has since moved off to the London Docklands. Right. can see we've now into 15 minutes into this video, and I think perhaps this may make it a suitable place to close down and start up another one, because I think 15 minutes is quite long enough. So I will just close down at this point and start up again, so don't go away. Over and out.